Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is Lynn Lee. I'm the host of Trauma to Triumph. Today's topic is self-worth. Our speaker is Alicia Love. Hi, Alicia. How are
Thank
you?
you so much. I'm doing great.
Majority of people are measuring their self-worth based on financial success, the title they hold, the talents they have, or whatever identities they are identifying themselves with as self-worth. So there are some people that don't yet have those identified as self-worth, and they feel unhappy because they're lost and they're
Right.
still struggling trying to find that. Then there are people who have gained that what they think is self-worth, but they lost it
Mhm.
and they feel again lost in their journey. And there are some that are successful or very popular at talent. They don't have that sense of self-worth and they feel unfulfilled.
Yeah.
So share with us what is self-worth.
The concept of self worth can be hard to understand what it means, like you said, with the feelings of happiness or satisfaction. I think self worth is confidence in oneself, that you trust that it's not about what you do and it's not about what you have, but you actually know that you are worthy just because of who you are, just because you are a living, breathing human that is showing up each day. And I think one of the things that's really, really most important in that self worth journey is authenticity and being honest with yourself, because your soul loves the truth. And when you're talking to other people about all these things that you have in the world, that your financial or your home or your accumulated worth, but you don't feel worthy of that, it can feel like an incongruent, like a disharmony within, right? You were mentioning how people can feel unsatisfied, even though you might have all the fame and all the wealth, you still don't necessarily feel worthy of it because of this difference between how you feel inside about yourself and what you have. I think it's important to look at telling ourselves the truth about what we believe and then looking at the belief systems. It's a lot of self talk and catching yourself when you think something about yourself, like, oh, that was so stupid of me. I can't believe I just did that. That's you talking negative to yourself and not having that worth within to be kind, and that, inner compassion, inner kindness.
So you mentioned that self-worth is a confidence. There are some people that don't have that confidence. So that means they don't have self-worth. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think the two are very related, because if you don't feel confident in your abilities to show up authentically, to be honest, to be kind, to be loving, that if you don't feel that strength within, that confidence to do and be in those ways, that it leads to a lack of feeling worthy, a lack of the ability to show up, right? We feel that small self and not the greatness that we really are. Trusting that if you can do your best at whatever you're doing, that you're worthy. I love to refer to Don Miguel Ruiz in The Four Agreements. It's a book that I live by, those four agreements. And one of them is always do your best. And we can't be hard on ourselves and say we could have done more if we literally did our best. And I think confidence comes from doing your best and knowing that you did your best and really trying with an authentic effort, not like you were mentioning, for the outside influences, not for the financial gain or for the physical gain, but for that personal gain of knowing that you can do it. It's so helpful to gauge the world from an internal perspective instead of what does all the outside world think of me or believe about me. It's really about the belief about ourselves. Overconfidence can hinder us in being authentic. Like, you just pretend like you can do everything. Like, I actually used to be attracted to very confident men, and turns out that most of them were overly confident in a very egoic way, in an outside influence kind of way. And now what I find most attractive in my friends and my partners and in my work life is an authenticity coming from a place of inner confidence, that you're not doing it to please anyone outside of yourself. You're just doing it to please yourself, because if you do your best, you're worthy of love. You're worthy of anything.
Confidence is about you comfortable and proud to be in your own skin and
Exactly.
your own thought, your own feelings, your own emotion, your state of being, your existence.
Exactly.
Confident in that area and believe in your action. And those actions have to be authentic, that align with who you are, the existence of you being you. And whatever that is, we need to have to figure that out.
Right. Where's the discord? Where's the disharmony? I actually run a program through my website and everything called Soul Coaching. It's actually founded by Denise Lin. In that very first day of the 28-day program, I facilitate and lead the program. That very first day, she asks a bunch of questions about how you feel about different areas of your life and where you are now and where you would like to be. And if that is such a large gap that you can't align with happiness and satisfaction with where you are, sometimes it takes work to actually follow through with certain actions and desires. Like, we're here at the new year time of 2021, we're wanting to set New Year's resolutions and intentions for the year, and especially coming from 2020, it's good to remember that it's really about those little steps that we can take to align ourselves with what we want based on who we are, how we feel, and like you said, not from the external outside influence, but from that internal personal growth kind of place. And if you look at those gaps between where you are and where you want to be, that you can feel a lot more authentic within yourself and confident and have more self-worth when those gaps are smaller, and you recognize that you can take small steps to fill that gap, but it's not this huge incongruency between who you think you are and who you want to be. We can all take little steps towards making that gap smaller and smaller to feel more in alignment with who we are.
Who you think you are. Can you elaborate that?
Yeah, I think of people that are in that, what I would categorize overconfident. Sometimes we think we are loving and kind, but we actually, yell at the dog and get all hot-headed at the kids and yell at the drivers on the road. And you may think you're loving and kind, but your actions aren't actually showing that externally. It's those little baby steps of catching yourself in those moments. And a lot of it comes from preconditioned society, culture, family of origin, education that we got growing up, that either we need to stay small or we're stuck in a belief system of who we can be, and we end up being kind of out of balance with who we want to be and who we think we should be. I take that word out of my verbal diet language completely. If you can eliminate the word should and instead replace it with could, I could do that, but then it gives you a choice. And a lot of times we're raised with belief systems that we didn't choose, and so there's that incongruency there too.
The struggle is who we should be and who we could be. So who we should be is the one that we're living in, people call it a program by how we are raised up, how we grow up, the people that we hang out, people that we work in the society. So that's who we should be. We learn that as a young age, right? And we should be like that. Then we identify ourselves and we live based on that. We're trying to prove in the society. And then when we be that and we accomplish that, we feel out of alignment with ourselves. That's where our self-worth is coming in missing when we accomplish all that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah, that's really well put. Yeah, the way that, you may have this deep desire to go in a certain direction in your life, and that would really feel fulfilling. You'd actually feel the self-worth of actually doing the things that feel so good to you. But if you've got this outside influence, society or your family or people just telling you shouldn't do that, or that's not you, or, all the different ways in which we feel controlled by these outside influences, the more alignment that we can follow our dreams and set our intentions to working towards what would make us feel so fulfilled inside, would give everyone that self-worth and self-confidence, because it would be, like you said, aligning with what we choose instead of what we feel like we're forced into. And trying to reconcile that is just, it's a losing battle, honestly.
That's the challenge. It's been filled up for us, right? With all the beliefs, all the should have. So that's where we are now, is struggling with our self-worth, which is what we could have.
Who we truly are, yeah.
So what you're saying is self-worth is what is underneath there.
Yeah, I think everybody has self-worth, or can have the connection to themselves where they feel worthy. It's available to everyone, and it just takes that uncovering and recognizing the beliefs that you've been carrying, and seeing internally what makes you happy, what you want to move toward, and then balancing that out. I do a lot of clutter clearing physically in my space, and also what I consider clutter clearing internally, right? Finding those thoughts and removing them, and choosing new thoughts and beliefs that are more empowering, so that I can feel that confidence and feel worthy of my life as I move forward through it.
Because a lot of those beliefs are driving our action. We as subconscious don't know that. Not only our belief, but also the experience that happened to us, reliving that in our mind, within our body system. Sometimes our mind can't even comprehend. This is the work that needs to be done. So what we need to do is to redefine our self-worth. And before we can do that, for some people, there are step prior to redefining our self-worth or reconnecting our self-worth. We work on removing all the layers that have been on top of one another. That's the first step. And the next step is to redefine. We are like in this energetic shed, in this energetic box that untangle. So we feel the way we feel because of this energy. If we're able to work on that, heal that, shift that energy, then we're able to easily redefine our self-worth. Then we are clear of moving forward, right?
Yep. Clarity is my number one favorite. Clearly seeing where you want to go without that hindrance of what's been holding you back is, I think, the best feeling. It feels like freedom to me. And you said it so beautifully, the way that we feel that energy, that box, it can feel like a heaviness or lethargy. You just don't want to get up out of bed in the morning. You struggle. That confinement that has come from society, it has come from the culture. And a lot of people, it comes from their families. And it feels restrictive. And those are the things that I would like to see people notice, how they feel. And I think, like you said, that's the first step. The first step is noticing. Having awareness of the pre-programmed beliefs, the negative self-talk, whatever you can catch yourself that is a reaction where you see yourself, oh, I didn't like how I reacted right then, You can see it. You might be able to see after the fact better than in the moment. But I always say that's the first step to this sort of life-changing growth, is just noticing how your body feels. Where's the energy? Do you feel panicky? Do you feel pressed on? And then move towards the understanding of where that comes from. And then we kind of draw that out and try to release it. And it always requires putting a new belief system or a new understanding in its place. It's like when you pull a weed, you need to plant something new that's going to grow beautifully and give you happiness and joy instead of that weed coming right back.
What are the feelings of really what is self-worth?
I think self-worth, what it does feel like is an authenticity within the body. Like you understand where you are in the world and you like it. You enjoy your place in the world. You enjoy your connections with people. So joy is certainly one of the emotions of self-worth, feeling that authentic confidence where you feel strength in your abilities And also understand, like, there is something about self-worth that it's not cocky. It's not like you know everything. You just know yourself. And so that feels, to me, I mean, even just use sensory words, it feels balanced and warm, and there's a level of self-compassion and self-kindness that comes with self-worth because you're speaking to yourself kindly. We all understand what it looks like to love someone from movies or books or whatever, but a lot of people don't understand that self-worth is about loving yourself in that same way that you would love someone else. So it's a real feeling of being loved.
right?
Yes, gratitude is the number one.
Appreciate of yourself, appreciate of your strength, appreciating your weakness, and celebrate your strength and work on your weakness because that will strengthen your self-worth.
Appreciating all of those qualities of yourself and finding the littlest things to be grateful for. It doesn't have to be grandiosity, you know, it doesn't have to be, like you were saying too, like these outside things that are not as important. It can be as simple as being centered in one deep breath, being grateful for clean water, being grateful to have sunshine. It's really nice to start with the simple things with gratitude practice. I found an online meditation. It was Louise Hay. It's like a 45-minute morning meditation where she literally goes through gratitude for everything. Gratitude for your bed, gratitude for the warmth, gratitude for your refrigerator. You know, like we can start there and then grow to grateful that I have beautiful friendships, grateful that I have connections, all sorts of love around me. You know, you inch up to it.
Kind of harness the good energy when we're being grateful or saying all these grateful things. Even the little things you may think is silly, but you are really actually harnessing the self-worth energy into your life, right? And we have to kind of look at your lifestyle. Does it harness energy within you? Does it increase your frequency? Does it help you grow internally? If majority of our time is been consumed by something, you're not close to self-worth.
Right. Yeah. Healthy habits, most important. I've been in the natural health industry my whole adult life, from my bachelor's degree on. And it's even for me still those little tweaks that I can drink more water, that I can eat less sugar, that I can get more sleep. It can be really basic, but transformative with how much energy it gives you to live in a much more healthy way. I completely agree with that.
What are the steps that you can suggest people to start, and what needs to be included in order to harness or remove the unnecessary belief or the things that have imposed on most of the people that they disconnect from who they really are?
I like to use affirmation, finding something that really resonates with you that makes you feel good. And sometimes it doesn't feel like harmony when you say, I am worthy of love. That could be a really simple affirmation for self-worth. I'm worthy of love. It may not feel true at first. And so people need to find where they can feel confidence in what they're saying to themselves in a positive way and work up towards the bigger, more powerful affirmations. So recognizing that how I feel is not who I am is another great affirmation, because a lot of times people feel these mood swings away from their center, and just having an affirmation that says, how I feel is not who I am. I am worthy of love. I mean, those can be some really powerful things to incorporate into the day-to-day. And you had said something I wanted to touch on. Sometimes people, they kind of reject positivity, like it's not authentic. And it's true, there's a lot of challenges in the world. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of sickness. I mean, we can look at all of that and focus on it. But there's a lot of good in the world. There's people doing kind things every day that you can be grateful that someone is doing something somewhere. And like you said, it's those little things. So recognizing where you might feel disconnected from joy would be a great place to start. Anywhere where people feel cynical or again, like rejecting that idea of positivity, I use paradoxes a lot, the opposite being also true, right? And it's really about what you choose to focus on. You can increase your energy, increase positivity, increase self worth if you focus on those things in your life. Somebody might smile at you from across the street, and that one thing could give someone self worth and change the course of their day because of how joyful it made them feel. And it just takes those little things, but you want to look for them. So that's a key that I talk to my clients about, just noticing and being grateful for those things that you can notice. When you walk down the street and you see a flower blooming that you can go and smell, and like you said, being grateful that we have these eyes and these senses, it's really about connecting to that tangible, physical, good feeling state that brings energy up. And that reminds me of an exercise that I do with my clients called energy up, energy down. And it goes back to just noticing how things make you feel. If you have, objects in your home that make you feel good to look at them, that's great, and that you can help notice what makes you feel good. But if you have something that every time you look at it you think, oh, my ex-boyfriend gave that to me and I don't really love it, but it goes with the room or whatever, or it's a piece of jewelry that you do really love, but every time you wear it you just have this negative association with it because of who gave it to you or whatever, that's noticing when something's bringing your energy down. And just those little tweaks in your life, noticing and being willing to let go of the things that aren't giving you energy, right? That are draining you. Being willing to let go of that belief system that is holding you back from your dreams. They're little, but they're very important. They're very impactful.
A lot of us need to pay attention to our body energy. We think a lot logically, or we have rational a lot of things. Sometimes being right is not as important as being wrong, because sometimes being wrong can bring peace to ourselves, because we can let go of that being right and then cultivate of the positive energy.
More of a truth. Yeah, that authenticity is so important. Yeah. The best definition I have for being authentic is in being in alignment with your truth. To be authentic would be to be truthful in your words, what you're saying to someone. That's authentic. To be in alignment or centered with doing the work that you feel connected to internally bring you joy. That's authentic, right? Coming to the world with authenticity is a level of honesty and truth that is in alignment with your inner being.
Yeah, a lot of people being inauthentic without knowing it. For example, they may say something true in front of somebody, and then in their heart it's not true. In alignment with yourself, not for another person, but it's yourself, right? Or we say something we don't mean. That's inauthentic to ourselves. Or we do something, but we mean something else, right? If you say you want to show up, you show up. And you show up with your whole presence.
Yeah, you really talked about that mental field of how the mind can be so controlling. And I think it's glorified in our culture, right? That mental, technical, smarts, all of that. And the mind tends to rule when it's really not the boss of us. The heart and soul are really what should guide and lead us. The mind is really helpful, but really feeling that authenticity from the heart, right? And catching it when your mind is controlling you. Yeah, noticing when your mind's like, oh yeah, say that so that you look good, but that's not authentic.
From the energy within you that you feel, when your feeling is off. So how do we cultivate self-worth again so that we can brighten it, strengthen it, expand it? Is go within, because when we were first born, the scientists showing here that there's a light when a sperm hit the eggs. The light hit that kind of ignite the manifesting of into the material world of forming the body. So to me, I think that is the soul. That is the energy. That is your self-worth, is your existence into this physical body. It's the energy, it's how it feel right and how it feel wrong. When it doesn't feel right, that means we are not in our self-worth. When we feel right and joy and happy, that's when we feel we're in our self-worth. So we need to pay attention to our energy, just our sensation, to our heart. Most of the things that we're intellectually trained is to do a certain way to achieve certain things, to have a certain life. But what really is to live authenticity outward, is to be honest and say what we do what we say. We really have to express our true meaning, our true feeling, our true thought, but in a way that is understood so that it's not harmful to other people or harmful to yourself. But again, we have been programmed, therefore we tend to react a lot of times that harm our self-worth. So we have to redo the work.
Yeah, it's true. It is harmful to our self-worth. It's good to recognize it, see it clearly, and then go into that inner being and feeling state, know where your energy is, and then just trust it, right? That's a huge part of it all is trusting yourself.
That's one thing, is when we pay enough attention to our body energy, we can be able to be more aware of our action, of our mistakes, so that we can work on.
What to tweak, what to change, right? What direction? I like to say pivot, use grace as a tool.
A lot of us tend to focus on what is wrong when it's already wrong, right? When things are already wrong, focus on what you can do to make it right, to find a solution, so that we don't spend time on what is wrong, because when we do spend time on what's wrong, we don't have time to focus on for a solution and what is to moving to the right direction.
And it's empowering to recognize what we can do in our own lives, because a lot of us feel really unempowered on a global level, that there's just so much poverty, there's so much pollution, there's so much out there that is a problem we can't solve on a massive level, but we can do something individually, right? We can not run the water so much. We can recycle, or, eat more plant-based and more conscious living sort of things within our own community. And that's empowering.
There are a lot of things within us we need to focus on, because when we are empowered within, we have self-worth, clearing out all the clutter within us, then we have a lot of more space to ignite others. When we are in the dark, in a way, we can't ignite others because our light is still deemed very low. When we're first born, energy is very pure, uncontaminated. That's when it can really ignite really fast. But unfortunately, that energy is contaminated by the people that raise us up, or the society.
It's that box. Yeah.
So when we can kind of tap into that energy and clear out all the clutter within us and expand it, that's when we can do big things. But you don't have to do big things. The big things is you can transform yourself.
That's the goal. And there is gold under there, right? Everybody has this beautiful soul within, and they can uncover those layers of contamination and oppression and, boxing us in to be small. But it's really about what we can do to grow that within ourselves. 100%. If our planet was full of people who took those little steps towards more self-worth, more inner kindness, we would be kinder to others. We would come up with better solutions on a global level.
We grow in a society where inner growth is out of sight, out of mind, in a way. Like microbiome in the soil, or in our body, or in every little material, the microbiome, to the microbiomes under the ground, for example. They can't prove we human can create technology, we human can travel from country to another country. So the microbiome can prove that. Therefore, what I'm saying is we human is a speck of microbiome of the universe. We cannot prove that it's all in the universe. It's out of reach. The same with human. If we use intellect to prove our existence, we can't do it because we don't have the capability. We are energetic beings. We are started from the energy, and this energy is a conscious of the whole. So you and me are connected on a conscious level. So if we tap into our conscious, into our energy beyond this physical world, we are connecting with our self-worth. And when we can heal or aware and change on, right?
Right. Yeah. Expand from there. But it starts right here with the self worth, with that inner knowing. Yeah, absolutely.
And what is required to do that is giving yourself time alone more often.
That is a wonderful suggestion. Yes, we need the time, and people can create the time. I made my intention for 2021 to go to bed earlier, to have that time for myself in the morning, right? I'm a regular meditator. That's actually going to be my free gift to your viewers, is the guided meditations that I do, and to really challenge people to meditate daily, because you get that time of introspection, you get that time of inner connection, and it does take that nurturing. It takes the intention to actually create that. I mean, it could be 10 minutes. I mean, everybody can take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And one of the tools I use for this level of connection is just breath. Just taking a few deep breaths, even if it's, the only privacy that you get is in the bathroom. Sit there and take a few deep breaths, just with intention of connecting within, and grow from there.
You can do that. Meditation is required, everyone, I believe.
It really helps.
And then other thing is, can find out something that really ignites you, inspire you, lift you up. It could be music, it could be walk out in the nature, it could be drawing, could be writing, journaling, reading, any art or anything that kind of like feels the unnatural noise energy, but cultivate the natural energy within you, right?
Yeah, most everything that you suggested either had nature or creativity involved. And I think taking those two things and putting them together in any way, I put little things I gather from nature, some pine cones together, just make, we usually bring a Christmas tree and decorate it in this, season that just passed. But there's ways to do that all the time, right? And creating, flower arranging, but really just taking a walk and appreciating the beauty of the trees and exchanging energy with the earth. I mean, all of that will increase that vitality that you keep talking about, that energy within. That I think it does come from inspiration, which is linked to creativity and definitely inspired by nature.
Yeah, because we are made out of nature,
Yeah.
and we need to closely living or be with it. Give yourselves a time to do that, and then eventually, move into other things, including meditation. Eventually, you will figure out, you will feel what will drive or pull you to do.
Yeah. One of my clients collects stones when she walks and, feeds the birds at the little lake near her house. And it's just those little things that keep us in touch with ourselves too, because we are a part of nature, and we tend to be disconnected from that in these four walls of our homes and our offices and our schools. And it does take us away from that wisdom that is all around us. So it just takes the intention of stepping outside your door and seeking it out that can change your life.
So ask yourself, what is the percentage of your daily life that you give to your self-worth?
Yeah. Sometimes people get overwhelmed. It's so much we talked about. Just start with one thing. Like you said, ignite that creativity. Change something in your diet that will have an impact. I mean, there's so many little things we can do, but it's just taking that step. And I think it comes from an inner commitment, and it's a choice. If we can keep our commitments to ourselves, then there's that feeling of authenticity, and it's right there. Start with something simple, but it will grow and build on that feeling when you are authentically in alignment and following through with a commitment that you make to yourself.
If you have any hurt emotion that's holding you stuck, you can clear that out first. Reach out to a coach who are resonating with you to help you heal those wounded emotions that may affect your behavior and actions, and then guide you through how to expand once you heal and live a fulfilled life. So that's the end of our conversation. So what would you like to add?
I just want everyone to know that they are worthy of love, worthy of this inner happiness. And I think this is such wonderful work that you're bringing all of us speakers together to talk about these things, because it's powerful. And like I said before, it can change the world. If we all step into this alignment within our own selves and follow that, it will transform the world in such a wonderful way. I can't wait to see what happens. It's going to be
Thank you so much. How would people find you?
My website is the best way to find me, mindfulspiritcoaching.com. I'm on Instagram as well, and I host moon circles every full moon and new moon to honor the cycles that we go through, right? The fullness and the darkness. That radiant light, and it's all inner journey work that we bring ceremony to. And so those are Wednesday nights closest to the full and new moon, and that information's on my website. And I also run a program called Soul Coaching. The 28-day program, I run it all throughout the year, and right now I'm running a lifetime access, sort of like a membership. Once you are joining the program, you can do it again and again and again. Anybody can start at any time. And I really appreciate you having me on here to talk about it all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining, Alicia. So thank you.